don't need this. Can you hear me at the back? Yeah, we're going to turn this on. I'm very loud, we'll be just fine. And what I say is really not that interesting, so feel free to fall asleep. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak. I've got 10 minutes. I'm basically the fluffer of this event. My name is Jamie Scarborough. I own a company called Sales Talent Agency. I'm a co-founder of the company. I have some of my great partners and employees here. And we work with more than 250 companies to help them find great sales talent. And every single month we help hundreds of salespeople find great opportunities. It's given us a really unique insight into what salespeople want. So what I want to do today is break this. Do you mind, sir?
No, you touched the button.
Thank you. Is the red button?
Nope, you want that?
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so what do salespeople want? Everyone in this room pretty much is a salesperson, correct?
Yeah.
We all have very similar goals. We want to be in control of our career. We want to make lots of money for the effort that we put in. We want to have a good product or service or solution to sell where there's a realistic marketplace, someone who wants to buy it. We want a good boss. We want a career ladder. And we want more money. Did I say more money? I've already said that. We want a lot more money. So, if your job doesn't offer these things today, it's very likely you're here looking for your next opportunity, or you're at least considering it. I want to tell you a little bit about what we tell our clients, how we help them come up with best practices when they're looking for good sales professionals. You're out there looking for sales opportunities, they're out there looking for sales people, and we give them some very key advice. And I want to share that with you and give you some best practices on how you can position yourself for a really good sales role. Okay, the first concept I need you to understand is the idea of talent and experience. Talent is something that is relatively innate. It's the thing that someone can have at 17 years of age, and they can also have at 38 years of age, although it's actually maybe a little bit more polished. Talent is the thing that's going to provide you a long-term success in sales. If someone is not talented in sales, they will never make a sale. If they are very talented, they have high potential to make a sale, and everyone else is somewhere in between. Experience is the thing that actually makes you money. A lot of people here will have had that first job that is that $25,000, $35,000, $40,000 job where they give you a book of companies to cold call, and your job is to literally dial for dollars, go and knock on doors, and they say, hey, you've got $100,000 on target income, $35,000 guaranteed, and you spend a couple of years doing that. Experience is the thing that's going to make it so that you're no longer making that base salary and you're making more and more and more money throughout your career. If you're a new graduate, you're obviously going to have, hopefully, a lot of talent and very little experience. Your goal in life and a salesperson is to move further and further along the experience ladder. From an employer's perspective, this is a really interesting concept because they have to balance how much talent they want and how much experience they want based on what their organization can offer and what their infrastructure is. How much money they can afford to pay, what kind of product they've got, how many transactions they need to make money from it, and what kind of brand they've got. So for example, when I was 15 years of age, I sold steak knives door to door. Right? You guys have done that as well. You know that it's a horrible sale, but that's what you do when you're 15 years of age and you need to make money. They give you 15 minutes, they tell you the features and benefits of that steak knife, they give you a bunch of doors, they literally drop you off on a corner, you go knocking on doors and selling these steak knives. Very, very easy to get someone talented with no experience up and running quickly. But the more complex the sales process becomes, the bigger the sale ticket item, $1 million ticket items, software that's very complicated, the harder it is to take someone who's just high talent, low experience, and expect them to be really successful. Make sense? That's the basic concept. So now let's talk about what talent is. As Sales Talent Agency, we've actually come up with an acronym. Every company comes up with these little acronyms, but it really helps us. Talent for us, we break down into D and A. D being drive. Drive is something that we all say we've got, but we tell our hiring managers to try and find out specific instances where people have set goals for themselves and actually achieve them. We all think we set goals for ourselves every day, but what I'm talking about are challenging goals. Sometimes when you grow up, you're used to that. Your parents kind of teach that to you, and some people don't get that same kind of nurturing to become goal-driven. And so if you don't, you're going to have to find a way to do it. But for example, setting a goal that I'm going to have breakfast in the morning is a very achievable goal. Setting a goal that I want to run a marathon is a much more challenging goal, and setting a goal that I want to run a marathon in less than 4 hours is a very challenging goal. And if you consistently set goals for yourself like that and achieve them, you become a very driven person. And we tell our hiring managers to look for driven people, people that set personal goals and go out there and achieve them. The next thing we tell them to look for is, would you buy from them? Their nature, how they look, how they feel. Someone, you've seen this all the time. If you're a hiring manager or if you see your colleagues at work, you'll know that there's certain people that own a room. There's certain people that are too arrogant. There's certain people that aren't arrogant enough. There's certain people that come to work looking terrible, and some people come to work looking great. Some people are on time, some people aren't on time. And 90% of the time, hiring managers make bad decisions based on this. They see someone walk into their door and they decide very quickly if they're not going to hire them or if they are going to hire them. We've got no problem saying about them not going to hire the part. We don't expect anyone to hire someone who they wouldn't buy from themselves. But making a decision of a yes just based on what someone looks like, sounds like, is one of the toughest decisions you're going to make. You should be looking at everything else. Our hiring managers look at all of these other items to make sure that they're not making a bad decision. The typical complaint here is when we come into an organization for the first time and they've hired someone, they say, this person looked great. They talked great. They were amazing. I don't know where we went wrong. This is one of the reasons they went wrong. Sales today is not like sales in the 70s and the 80s and even before, where you could be very dominant personality, very A-type personality. You could be driven and basically nice. You could talk about people's golf games. You could talk about their children, and you would make sales. It doesn't work that way anymore. We're no longer salespeople, we're business people. We are consultants in almost every walk of sales. To be a really good consultant, you actually have to be articulate, you have to question, and you have to research. You have to understand what your client is looking for, you have to understand your own industry, you have to understand your competitors, you have to understand everything about your space, and to do that, you have to be pretty intelligent, and you have to want to be intelligent. So we're always looking for people, our clients are always looking for people that have acumen and are intelligent. So what does experience look like? Experience starts with the obvious thing, performance. Whenever sales reps come into our organization, we ask them a simple question: are you a good salesperson? And most sales reps go, yeah, I'm a good salesperson. I think so. And so we follow up and say, how do you know? And if they say, well, my customer's saying, that's a horrible answer. I can go into a company, give them a 90% discount. Guess who thinks I'm a good salesperson? Being a good salesperson is about actually making sales. It's the greatest profession because it's the only profession within an organization where you truly are measured. You truly are measured. You can tell if you're good or if you're not. You don't have to suck up. You don't have to be extraordinarily nice. If you're good, you're staying. If you're not, you're gone. Keeping track of someone's performance record, how have they done compared to targets set for them, how have they done compared to their peers around them, is really important. Relevance. This is another thing that often is a challenge and a frustration for job seekers. You could be the greatest realtor there is. But if you're looking for a job in software, that experience doesn't mean anything. It has to have some amount of relevance. You have to be selling within a similar industry or to a similar decision maker or a similar sales process for you to continue to go up in your career. If you don't, you'll find that every single job has a similar salary and a similar total income level. For you to continue to go up in your career, you have to make more. My career path, $22,000 in my first year, $35,000 in my second year, $45,000, $48,000, $65,000, over $100,000, then it went up $330,000, $374,000, $430,000. All of them were not because I was that vastly better salesperson, it was because I was becoming more and more of an expert